Jammies? Welcome back to another episode of Ricky's Ram Jam presented by Barefoot Wine. It's been a great offseason so far, but we're ramping back up into the thick of it, so buckle up. The draft is right around the corner, and I have a very special guest joining me in a little bit to help me break it all down. But first, I'm back. I'm a little sunburned. I don't know if you can tell. Hopefully, my producer Adam has done some great editing and color correction, so I do not look like I am just glowing off the screen red. I was in Tampa with family and friends, and Jammies, I gotta tell you, as the opener came on for the first night in Tampa for Taylor Swift, I went on my phone, I bought a ticket, and I went in. So I saw Taylor at Raymond James Stadium. It was an incredible night. I will not spend my time recapping it, but you know I'm going again in August at SoFi. Even if you're not a Taylor fan, it was over 3 hours. I could talk about this forever, but trust me, it was a trip of a lifetime. Also, the cheerleaders for the LA Rams have finalized their roster. The auditions finished this past weekend. I don't know if you haven't seen it yet, but go check out at the LA Rams cheer account. I made a video where I bought a $40 wig, did my hair up, was crazy, and went undercover to try out for the Rams cheer team. And it was the most exciting and fun thing that I've done in a while. It was so much fun, so hard. I have so much more respect for these people. It is incredible. I made up a fake name and everything. My name was Tiffany. Didn't make it, which I'm a little kind of, trying to figure that out because I feel like my dance moves were pretty good, but you should go over to their social page to check that out. It's also on my page as well. It was so much fun and just so much respect for the team, for the cheer, for what they do in the community and this Rams team. Like I said, the season's ramping up. We're getting excited. Things are coming together. The 2023 season is among us and everything is feeling good. Energy is great. But enough about that. Let's dig into the draft, shall we? As you know, Jammies, we love football and we love our sponsor, Barefoot Wine. Wine and football aren't that different. Sure, they can be complex, but enjoying them should be easy. And both are easier to enjoy with friends. So I'm happy to be pairing my Barefoot Wine today with my wonderful friend, NFL Network analyst, draft extraordinaire. I mean, the list goes on and on, Daniel Jeremiah. DJ, hello, the busiest guy on planet Earth. Thank you for making time. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. It's so great to see you. I was so excited that you made time because I think you are literally the busiest person on planet Earth right now. So that's crazy. How many cups of coffee are you on
Oh my gosh.
by this point?
So I think I've had two today, but
Okay.
I've gotten to the point where you're going, and you don't realize it. And then you kind of do that self-assessment at the end of the day and you're like, I think I had 5 cups of coffee today. This is not good.
Yeah.
Not a good situation.
Definitely. So you're busy with interviews, you're doing Move the Sticks, you're doing draft shows for NFL Network, you're going to Kansas City. What's your day like the week before the draft? Are you still studying tape or do you have to cut it off and just go from memory and maybe sometimes overlooking at something could sort of make you second guess yourself, I guess?
Yeah, that's the challenge. So it's a balancing act there. So I try to get every year to 400 players. So that's always my target. So I have probably not many, maybe 8 guys left to finish. And the way I do it is, you kind of do all the combine guys. That's really the crunch for me.
Yeah.
Get all those guys done by the time you get to Indy. Then after that, what we call in scouting, we use the phrase chasing ghosts. You're like, oh my gosh, this guy had a good workout. Let me watch him. Oh, I just heard some team, work this guy out, or some team brought this guy in. I don't know who it is. Let me add him. And then eventually I just make the cutoff at 400. There's gonna be 259 guys get drafted. 400's enough. Enough. And so if somebody gets drafted that I haven't done, you tip your cap to that team for finding them. But I'm done chasing ghosts. So I'm almost to the end of that process. And then I just have to turn in my top 150 by the end of the week. So, it's just kind of, tweaking some things of what order you want to put them in, but the hay's in the barn for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So for a refresher for my jammies out there, the Rams have a early second round pick. They have this 36 overall pick, which is the highest pick since Jared Goff went first overall in 2016. What do you make of this? What do you make of the Rams' upcoming draft? How should they approach this? What do you recommend?
Well, I'm excited for them, and I think the Rams fans should be excited because Les has done such a good job of hitting on guys in middle rounds, and they're armed with a bunch of picks, even though they don't have, that first-round pick. They've got an interesting collection of picks in areas where they can add some good players. So picking at 36, I look at their defensive line as an area they could address. It happens to just be, a really deep edge rusher group.
Okay.
So you might be getting a first round player, a very good chance you're getting a first round caliber player at edge rusher there at 36. So that'd be someplace they could go. And I think as they kind of go throughout the draft, I think you add another defensive lineman, you can add a linebacker, you can look at in the secondary and add some pieces. It feels like this could be a pretty defensive centric draft to me.
Yeah, I mean, you did talk in your first mock as well. The O-line and edge rusher are two positions that you kind of have highlighted for the Rams as of now in positions of need. Are there any players specifically that stand out from that group that Rams fans should keep an eye out for?
I'd keep an eye out for Will McDonald as an edge rusher, someone I think is just a really, really good football player and would fit with what they do. If you think about Leonard Floyd and kind of his skill set and the things he was able to provide, I think Will McDonald out of Iowa State can do a lot of those same things. He's real loose and bendy and can do a lot of things as a rusher. So I think he'd be a great fit. That's probably right about where he will go off the board. So I'd keep an eye on that. Name another defensive lineman. I call him actually Rhett. I'll give Rhett credit for something. Rhett Lewis, my buddy from Path of the Draft. I know I don't like to do this, Erica. You've backed me into a corner.
Yeah. What?
But Felix Anaduke Uzama is the edge rusher from Kansas State, which is one of those names that even on the draft day, like you think it through as you're saying it to make sure you don't butcher it. And he calls him FAU, and I'm like, how did I not think of that?
Yeah.
I've been looking at his name for months and months and months, but FAU never came to me, and I think it's such a shortcut and such a cheat. But that would be another name that I would keep an eye on as an edge rusher.
Okay, I like that. I was getting coffee right before we did this interview, and Les came in and was getting some tea next to me, and I was like, "Hey, like, who are you gonna pick?" And he was like, "Security," and then it was this whole thing. So I have no insight about what's gonna happen, but we did get coffee and tea at the same time, so I feel like I'm on the right path.
I have my call. I usually call Les the week of the draft every year, and he's always has the ability to be very forthright and honest because I'm like, you're not seeing these players. You guys don't pick to the third round. Like, let's just, how do you see it with this guy or that guy? So he's always been a great sounding board. Now picking 36, I feel like I'm going to get guarded less.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a couple text messages. I'm going to keep, staking out the coffee machine, and I'll give you some insight for sure. The Rams also own the 69th overall pick, which is an early third-round pick, the same pick that they snagged Cooper Kupp with in 2017. Position aside, who do you see being, the Cooper Kupp of this draft?
Ooh, well, I don't know that every draft has a Cooper Kupp. Obviously not even talking about receiver. He's such a rare talent, such a special player, and to find that value there in the third round is pretty unique. So I would say if you go back and look at Cooper's year, it was a good wide receiver year. And so a lot of times when you can hit big on these mid-round picks, it's because it happens to be a deep year, and you just so happen to get a player that in years past might have gone a little bit higher depending on what position they were at. So I'll go to the opposite position, and I'll go to the corner room, and I'll say there's a guy like Riley Moss from Iowa who's played corner, who some teams think will end up being a safety, really, really athletic, just a really instinctive player, good football player who I think is third round, pick 69. I think that's a nice spot for him.
Definitely. So the Rams have invested in late round picks the last handful of years, and then this year they have 3 5s, 3 6, 2 7s. What position group do you think has the most value? You were just talking about a deep draft. Do you think it is that corner?
Yeah, the positions I would say you're looking at on offense, you're looking at tight end and running back are the two deepest positions. Tight ends is as good a group as I've seen in 10 years. Really? So there's a lot of depth. I think there's double-digit starters. So if you look back in 5 years, I think you'll see 10-plus starting tight ends emerge from this class, which is rare because we've been on some lean years for tight ends. So I think that's an area you could look. Running back is really deep. So those would be the two offensive positions. You flip it over, it's edge rusher and corner, who we've talked about. So those would be the two positions on defense. I think into the 4th, 5th round, you're going to get really, really good players at those spots. Now, the other side of it is you're like, okay, off the ball linebackers, not very deep. You look at, the receiver group is not what it's been in terms of what we've seen over the last few years. Offensive tackles kind of falls off a cliff early. So that can kind of inform what direction you want to go. If we're talking about rebuilding that defense, but maybe still wanting to add an offensive lineman, it would probably make more sense if one of the tackles you like were there with that second round pick. Go ahead, take the tackle right there because there'll be time where you can get some defensive linemen and corners later on.
Okay, yeah. So go early for that because it's a smaller. TJ,
Yeah.
what is your path to the draft? Is it flying, driving, bicycle? How do you get there?
Well, flying, yeah. But I did last year in Vegas. I did. I wanted to drive, and they told me you can't. Like, don't do that.
Liability.
So, yeah, is that what that? I didn't know what the pushback was because I was like, no, I don't mind. It's drive. It's not that much different, where I live to get to Vegas there versus staying in the airport waiting for bags and all that kind of stuff. But that I think was going to be my one shot until LA gets it. So we don't know. We haven't heard about LA getting the draft yet.
Right, that's
I don't know if
exciting.
that's
Are you
on the
going to get
horizon,
some
but-
barbecue as well?
Yeah, I usually do a dinner with Schrager the night after the draft. So the draft takes place 3 days. During the third day, once we finish, go back, take a shower, and then it's just this tradition we've had over the last few years. Yeah, we go eat, and it's last year we were at the this famous steakhouse in the Bellagio, and Schrager pulled some strings and got us right up next to the window, looking out at the fountain, and they have a professional photographer that comes around that will take your picture, your couple picture. So I was like, well, yeah, A, we're taking the picture, and B, we're both buying it. And so we did. I'll send you a picture of it.
Wait,
but yeah, we took a professional picture.
I need to see that for sure. And I hope that's already circulated. If not, two more questions before I let you go, because like I said, you are the busiest guy on planet Earth. And I'm just so
That's
thankful.
not real greenery behind you, correct?
No,
it's
this is actually,
wall.
I'm in my garden right now live. Yeah. So I've been shrubbing them all morning and pruning.
Good.
And
it looks fantastic.
Thank you so much. Is draft season your favorite time of year, or do you consider it more stressful? I know you said combine earlier.
Yeah.
Like if you had to pick, what is the Daniel Jeremiah experience with like the month that you thrive?
I would put it this way. Those are my two biggest events of the year, the combine and the draft. I would say the combine comes with tremendous stress because you have, there's more guys at the combine that are going to get drafted. So it's 330 something players. So I'm trying to jam them in and watch. I want every time a guy gets up to the line to run his 40, I don't want to sit there and read out of a book that he had 35 catches for 450 yards. Like I want to have actually watched him and spent time on him and be able to talk about him. So it's trying to get all those players in. And every year I go, I got to start earlier. Gosh, this crunch got me. Like I didn't sleep for like the last 10 days. And every year I'm like, dang it, I didn't start as early as I needed to. So that's always a major crunch, lots of stress, very little sleep. Then once we get to the draft, it's like that's the fun. So I kind of look at the combine as like your practices, like it's all the work and putting that all in. And then now it's like you go from a very quiet golf atmosphere at the combine to hundreds of thousands of people and crazy energy and surprise at the combine. I know wide receiver 11 is going to come to the line right after wide receiver number 10. And when you get to the draft, you don't know what's going to happen. And that's literally, the draft is like my Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year.
I love that. Yeah, this will be my first year in I think 5 or 6 years that I won't be at the draft. So I wish them well, but I do hope that the Around the NFL is struggling without me there. So we'll see how things are
hold
going.
on real quick. So Around the NFL, explain to me what is that?
They are a digital show, I believe, at NFL Network.
Oh, okay.
They might have like a YouTube presence or something, I think. But yeah, used to work on
it's
that.
funny. I used to watch it a long time ago, and I just remember thinking like, wow, this thing is produced like you would not believe. Like
Absolutely.
It is, to make these guys look this good, I was like, I don't know who's producing this, but this is incredible that they're able to make some unbelievable lemonade out of the lemons that they were dealing with. But I haven't had a chance to see it lately, so I don't know how they're doing.
Yeah. Let me know if you do. Yeah, I need the Schrager picture at the Bellagio, and just if you can give me some updates about what's going on at NFL Network, I'd love that. DJ, thank you so much for stopping in today. I'm so excited. I can't wait to watch you for the draft coverage, and I've been following all that you do, and I'm so thankful that you made time to hang out with me today.
Well, as I've always told you, number one, I've always appreciated you as a friend. I've always respected the work that you do. You're as talented as anybody, and to see you thriving and doing your thing, equally proud and excited to see where this continues to go.
DJ, you're the best. Thank you so much. Keep kicking butt, and right back at you. I'm proud of you too. That does it for this week's Ricky's Ram Jam. Thank you to NFL Network analyst Daniel Jeremiah for getting us primed for next week's NFL Draft. Remember that NFL Network provides live coverage of the 2023 NFL Draft from Kansas City, April 27th through the 29th. And of course, make sure to keep it locked on the Rams' digital and social platforms throughout the draft to learn all about the newest members of our squad. I am so excited. DJ is the best. Make sure you follow him wherever he is. Track him because he knows his stuff. Thanks, guys, and I will see you soon. Let's ram it.